Hey there. Let's talk about selling ourselves for a second. I have a feeling that a lot of you are in the same boat as I am. You've got all this crazy ass stuff coming through you, all this creativity, and when it comes to putting yourself out there and putting all the goods out there, you're just kind of like, I'm sure it's not just me, but it's something I've always had an issue with. I mean, going back to when I was a kid, I, would be a wreck and, applying for jobs, um, sending out resumes as I got older. Um, just kind of putting yourself out there for consumption, just kind of, set off all the anxiety buttons. And I mean, gosh, once I even, had this business and was, I was hand painting these baseballs and little wooden bats, and they were kind of cool, and they sold for a while, but it kind of, faded and kind of ran its course. And a lot of that is because I just couldn't get myself to do the hustle. I was just kind of like hoping that, my talent would just sell itself, and it just doesn't work that way. You kind of have to be the one that kind of, push it out there. And I've always been afraid of just being seen as, you know, money driven, being a, kind of being a bit of a nuisance, being in the way. Um, and I just kind of was meditating and just kind of wanted to, was kind of pondering through, why the hell do I do that? Because I'm kind of hitting that block now with my writing, and I, this part of me is just like really excited to show it off, and not that I'm like Hemingway or anything like that, but I'm really passionate about it. I feel like I got something to say, and I think, there's messages there that I think a lot of people might really get. But when it comes to trying to, push it out there, like on social and all that stuff, I'm kind of like, uh, maybe I shouldn't do that. So anyway, I was kind of pondering, all right, why? In my meditation, and I kind of went back to when I was a kid, and people would come around selling, and I remember, actually, my first memory is my grandmother, and she would just go to the door, scream at them, slam the door in their face. Um, my parents would just close the blinds, lock the doors, and hide. And I think that just kind of followed me. I mean, even now, I go into any place where there's salespeople, and I'm just going in looking at computers because maybe at some point down the road I might want to get a new laptop, for instance, and kind of seeing what's there. I see the salesperson in Best Buy coming around the corner, and my first thought is just like, Turtle, 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 turtle. And I really kind of thought about that. And I think it's more, I'm seeing that fear reflected back at me when I see them coming around the corner because of my anxiety with selling myself. And it has absolutely nothing to do with them. You know, they're just trying to make a little bit of coin. They're trying to make their own rent, their car payment, you know, provide for their families, doing the same thing I do every night. It doesn't mean I'm in any obligation to purchase anything, but, you know, they're people, flesh and blood, just like I am, and I just never got why, I don't know, I still kind of hate that I get that way. But it certainly makes sense why I would if that was where, you know, that was the wiring I have. And I know it's cost me so many times in the past, you know, being nervous to put in this application or to try this thing out or that. I had my own little business for a couple of years back in the day. I used to paint baseballs and wooden bats, do little prints. I actually came up with some pretty neat stuff. And I had a nice little eBay business going for a while, but it kind of ran its course and it got to the point where in retrospect, I think the universe was trying to get me to get past the hump and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't really force myself out there, and it just eventually it died out and, you know, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if it's just that fear of rejection, but that's just a point of life, and, you know, especially when you're putting your stuff out. It's not about the whole world loving you. It's finding that right person that is going to consume what you have to offer and want to devour it like a Big Mac. Okay, bad example, but happens. So yeah, you kind of have to cut through the weeds of those that aren't interested, and it has nothing to do with you. It doesn't mean that you suck or your work sucks. It just doesn't align, and that's okay. Because there's people out there that they don't know you exist if you don't keep pushing it out there. Think of the kids, you know, and you think of like my niece or my nephew when they were little and they would do their fundraisers, you know, the candy bars or whatever the hell else the school would make them sell, or their sports teams, or neither one of them did scouts, but, you know, whatever activity they were in, they'd have to go and sell to make some money. And, you know, they're small. They don't have these silly blocks. They don't give a shit. They just, you know, go right on out there and go right to the next person. Want a candy bar? You know, think of the kids like that do the fundraisers when you go into the grocery store on a Saturday morning. Yeah, they don't have that fear. They don't have that anxiety. They're just excited for what they do, and they're having fun on they're with a friend just having a blast on a Saturday morning. Like little honey badgers. They don't give a shit. So maybe it's just, they probably have the right idea. And, maybe just kind of go back to being that kid, getting that passion, getting that excitement for what you do, and just kind of keeping that light flying. Because you're going to find your tribe. You're going to find your audience. You just got to keep, digging at it. You got to keep chipping at it. You got to keep, popping it out there. They're there. They're looking for you. Get past yourself. Get past your shit. And when I say you, I mean me. But also possibly you if it applies to you. Kind of why I'm sharing. And just throw your shit out there. You don't know what kind of amazing things might happen or what you might run into. World's kind of crazy like that. So that's about all I wanted to say, and I figured I'd get started. Here we go. Shameless plug. All right, it's backwards, but Becoming a Beacon. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. Anyway, hope you're all having a wonderful Monday or whatever day it is you're looking at it, and take care of your beautiful selves. Love you. Peace.